and welcome to another in the series, Why I Write. My name is Totlin Oliver, and it gives me utmost pleasure to share with you every time that we come on your screen, another intriguing, exciting artist. And if you have been following Why I Write for some time, you will see that all of our writers are extremely multifaceted, multi-talented, and they come from a variety of backgrounds. And this evening, it is absolutely no different. I have with me as my very special guest an Immaculate High School fellow alum. Yes, we graduated the same year from Immaculate. No, we did not. I knew that there was something off
Older
somewhere.
than you, Totlin.
Oh, no. But you know what? That was the sisterhood at that time. It was almost like it doesn't matter what year you are in, especially if you're close together, we look forward to doing our get-togethers and celebrating each other. So please help me welcome my Facebook family and friends, Camille Isaacs Morell. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, Camille. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Really, really happy to be with you here and to join with other people Facebook Live. It's really a privilege to be on your program. Thank you.
I am so happy. I'm so happy you're able to make it, because I know when individuals are so invested in living real life out loud, sometimes you don't have the time. And especially at this particular period when you are getting your book off the ground, I know you'll have to be dealing with media and sales and copies coming to you and getting the word out. So I'm so happy that I'm one of the early people to feature your beautiful, beautiful book. Oh my goodness. Please say the name of your book for me so we can hear your voice say the name of your book.
My book is called Pastels and Prose, and Pastels and Prose works in both English and French. Just so that everybody watching will know, I live in the province of Quebec, which is a French, predominantly French province in Canada. I live in Montreal, so I thought it would be nice to have a bilingual book. So it's called Pastels and Prose. I guess it's backwards because of the camera.
It's actually showing pretty great on the screen. Pastels and prose.
Yes.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I was so excited to see that you had this publication coming out, because I've been following your painting work that you take the time to share with us here on Facebook, in our Facebook family. So, to see that you've gone a step further, and the desire in your heart, as we talked before this program, is to let people be in touch with your art. And then you put words to it. I love that. I love that. So we're going to start at the beginning. First of all, let me make sure that everybody who is logged on is able to see, right? And let us welcome our earliest viewers this evening. Thank you so very much for joining us, Marilyn. Thank you so much for joining us, Ava Daly. Thank you so very much for tuning in to Why I Write this evening. Now, Camille, let's start at the very beginning. Did you ever consider yourself an artist growing up, or a writer, a book publisher growing up?
Well, my mother told me that I started trying to speak from the age of 10 months. So I have always this compelling desire to speak, and I am a talker. I really am a talker. And the next thing is, there was always this desire I was drawn to the beauty of nature, and I did try to paint, but I knew something was in there, but I never thought that it would come forth in this way. But I always knew that something was there, but I didn't know how to express it. So I knew that there's going to be the dimension of expression verbally as well as through art. So the two have come together very nicely, because every painting that I have has a story behind it. And my intention is for people to um, have their imagination or feel joy or to be transported when they see my paintings into another world, to see beauty that surrounds them. So
yes, yes, yes. Now, hi, Donna Benbow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Teresa, thank you
hi,
so
Donna.
much for being here. Happy to see you. Hello, hi, welcome. Now, you currently live in the province of Quebec, Canada. That's north of us here in the United States of America. But you grew up in Jamaica. So what was growing up in Jamaica like? What was it like for you as a young lady growing up? What were your influences? What was life like? What did it feel like? What was life telling you that, yes, I hear that you wanted to talk from very early. What was life telling you to get into as an adult?
Yeah, so I grew up in a middle-class family in Jamaica. Yeah. I was born in the year that Jamaica became independent, 1962. So I'll be 60 this year. When I grew up, my parents actually had a very, very different upbringing than I did. They certainly did not have the opportunities that I had, and they made many sacrifices to make sure that I had the opportunities that I had. My late father always told me that, you know, one thing in life, I must always make best use of my opportunities. And he used to tell me how fortunate we were. Now I can understand. Growing up in Jamaica, I had a very, very inquiring mind. And interestingly, the schools that I went to in elementary school, I did mix with a lot of people who were expatriates, white Jamaicans, Lebanese, a multicultural mix. And I did feel the urge to learn more and to travel the world or to go beyond. But there was something very grounding about Jamaica that, and it still is there. So I remember also having some issues with people. You know, I have a lighter complexion, so I had some issues with that. People, you know, making
giving you the
fun of me.
names, giving you the names.
Yes, yes.
Giving you the
Yet
names.
at the same time, they critiqued my more Afrocentric features like my nose and my lips. So there was all of that coming into play. And I always knew that I was Black, and I always knew that I'm 5 or 6 generations removed from people who were brought against their will to Jamaica, and that I was standing on the shoulders of these folks, and that I never took my privilege for granted. That's the way my parents raised us, to be very, very conscious of other people who didn't have the same opportunity that I had. So I would say that from a fairly early age, I was questioning, what is my purpose in life? Who am I? Where do I fit into this transitional phase of Jamaica, coming from colonialism into independence? And then in the 1970s, of course, we had the experiment with democratic socialism and wide-ranging social changes, which really and truly sparked my interest in wanting to serve the world. So what actually happened was, I did want to be a nurse from a very early age. For some reason, by the time I reached 3rd form, or grade 9, as they called it at Immaculate, my propensity to speak and communicate seemed to predominate, and I did extremely well in foreign languages, French in particular. And I wanted to study French and Spanish. And I wanted to be a diplomat, actually, or to work in some kind of international
setting.
Yes, but not for the trappings of driving around in motorcades and you know, being, you know, some high official.
Celebrated.
But to make the world a better place. Because yes, so I studied foreign languages at the University of the West Indies, which I have to say were just the absolute best years of my life. I would live them over in a heartbeat. I'm
Wow.
so glad that I chose to study first in Jamaica. I
Take off.
made so many friends. And then I had graduated from Immaculate, which is a Catholic school, which was very strict. And I don't have a problem with that. It reinforced what I was getting at home. But going to University of the West Indies, I had a newfound freedom. I met so many different people. And the desire to serve the world just kept flourishing.
Growing.
Yes.
Mm.
So I did get quite a few very good opportunities. I worked as a student intern in my summers at the Jamaica Tourist Board. And I also was a liaison aide, as they call it, for some of the international conferences like the Law of the Sea. Of course, you had the naysayers and the detractors who said, why are you studying languages? What can you do?
All the time. Yep.
Anyway, and
how did you treat with that? I mean, yeah, we now see you so many years later at the back of it, but how did you navigate all of those naysayers during the time when you were following your bliss, so to speak? You were doing that which you had a great affinity for.
Well, what I will say to you is that it created some amount of insecurity in me, but there was this burning desire and urge to follow my heart. And I credit my mother and my father because they are firm believers that you follow what's in your heart and you can find your place in the world. And even though I did not necessarily follow their professions, my dad was a teacher and my mother worked in the civil service, in the financial stream. They were very supportive, and my parents' opinion actually is very important to me, believe it or not.
Yes, but that's good. But you know what I'm coming to learn, Camille, as I, live longer every day. Here it is. We might not follow the profession of our parents or that which is the given thing. But here's what happens. The elements of whatever they did as a profession, a teacher or a civil servant, whatever it is that they did, it informs your practices, no matter what the title is that you wear in your professional life. So that's what I've come to learn. And of course, in the last 10, 12 years or so, I've come to realize that there are certain skills that we learn and develop from our parents, from early education or early like college education, that are very transferable skills. And we're seeing a lot of that these days. And I love that we're touching on this right now because it's a lovely setup for how we're going to talk about your art and how your book finally came. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Why I Write. My name is Totlin, your host, and my very special guest at this time is Camille Isaacs Morell, and she has a beautiful book about to hit the shelves. And she's going to be telling you about some special pricing before we finish our conversation tonight. And just keep tuned, share, like and share, and let everyone know that we're having this very exciting discussion because we're traveling with Camille as to how she discovered that, you know what, I'm just going to follow my heart, and where it led her to today. So here we are, you're at university, you got these internships, you got these opportunities to start working amongst the diplomatic corps, so to speak, the international community, and you were already set up anyway from before high school. So that's a good, nice balance. And where did that take you thereafter?
Well, actually, I worked in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs actually for 8 years. I cannot say that I regret any moment of that experience. I was very young. I actually traveled on official delegations with the then Prime Minister Patterson. I also did a bit of interpreting for Prime Minister 𝑑𝑨𝑺𝑻𝑬𝑳𝑺 when we had Spanish diplomats come in. And what happened was I was learning a lot about international trade and international business through languages. But something started happening in the world in the mid to late 1980s. early 90s. Globalization was coming in. And at the time, I realized that more and more the private sector was going to be driving the
globalization change.
relations. Yes. And I took a good hard look at where I was at that time in my life. And I realized that I didn't see much incremental value in terms of my evolution intellectually or the impact that I could make on the world if I stayed in the Foreign Service. What I did was I was able to go to the University of Miami because they had a program there in international business and marketing. And at the time, the Caribbean Basin Initiative and free trade with Canada and the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, all of these things were coming in.
I remember
and
that.
I thought that this was a time for me not to study international business, international policy relations or that, but to take a business degree that would enable me to work both in the private and public sector. And the ministry, the government of Jamaica, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs was very gracious. They gave me 2 years off to go and study. And I did come back to Jamaica to serve my time there. And actually, the Canadian government was looking for qualified professionals. I loved my French. I applied. And
voila.
And I want to tell you something, Totley. Today's the 15th of August. It is the 29th anniversary of my arrival here in Canada.
Congratulations on so many fronts, because one, you're celebrating your own 60th anniversary of your birth, alongside the 60th anniversary of Jamaica's independence from Britain. And now today, this is a very special day. Where's my confetti? Let me just shake this.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Well, thank you.
Yes, this is a very special day. So we have confetti in the form of beautiful roses just for you, because I think that those milestones are remarkable. And what I'm hearing from you, Camille, and I really would love our audience to pick up on, is that making timely decisions, doing timely evaluations of self or where you are or where you want to be, opening up yourself to new opportunities, seeking whatever way you can improve your lot towards achieving your goals, and staying on task is very important to really achieving your dreams and your aspirations, because nothing is better than if you're living a life in which you're totally satisfied giving the way you want to.
Yes, I just want to mention one thing. Sorry, I just want to mention one thing that I really explored all my options in Jamaica before. I didn't take my decision to come to Canada lightly. I really did explore my options. And I was beginning to feel very frustrated and very limited. And I still can be of service to Jamaica and Jamaicans. I don't have a problem with coming over here. But I'm just saying I didn't really want to leave Jamaica. I wanted to continue in the Foreign Service, but I just could not find that deep inner satisfaction that I could see going forward. And I just want to say that there are many Jamaicans who are serving nobly in the Foreign Service. They're very fulfilled. They're doing an excellent job. And what my own commentary is all just about my own personal path. It's not a judgment about other people's decisions or paths that they may take. Yeah.
But you know what, Camille, one of the reasons why I really truly invite these conversations, like the one we're having, it is about life development. It's about life changes. It's about how can we contribute to our world. And the truth be told, as Jamaicans, it is as if, listen, we just had our 60th anniversary celebrations. And as far as I'm concerned, we'll be celebrating the 60th the whole year. But in our pledge, we say this: before God and all mankind, I pledge the love and loyalty of my heart, the strength and vigor of my body in the service of my fellow citizens. And it goes on to say, down to the verse which says, the pledge ends up saying that we are here to work towards the fulfillment or the betterment of the whole human race.
Yes.
We had to learn that from as soon as we are able to talk in primary school, in kindergarten, in prep school, and we said it more than a number of times while we are in high school. So pledging our best to citizens of Jamaica and the world is a part of our instinct. It's a part of our background. We are not selfish with our talents and our skills. And I'll never forget, once I was doing a piece of research, and I remember Professor Errol Miller, from one of his writings, his researches, he said, you know what? The Caribbean is not able to absorb the totality of its own talent.
Exactly.
And when I read that, it kind of helped me to open my mind more myself to the embracing of the world platform, where if their time comes for you to move and live elsewhere in the world, be it Belgium, South America, Quebec, United States, this is what our life has brought us to.
Exactly.
So again, congratulations for all of that journey.
Yes.
So here you are. How cold or warm is Quebec?
Well, it's very cold over here, but there's one decision I made when I was coming here, that winter is a fact of life and I cannot change it. I made up my mind.
Exactly.
I have a thick black coat with a hood on it, and a pair of heavy boots and a scarf. And I dress warmly and I go, and I do not complain. Yes, I do. One day in winter, typically mid-February, near to Valentine's Day, I do complain that it's bitterly cold. But apart from that, I do not discuss the weather. This is a fact of life that I cannot change. And that's it.
I just had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about the weather. I'm always fascinated that especially in North America, every winter, the weatherman complains and you hear people complaining, oh, it's so cold today. I'm like, it's supposed to be cold. It's that time of the year. Or it's summer. Oh, it's so hot and humid. Well, that's what happens in this part of the world. So, dropping some very serious life nuggets there. Why frustrate yourself about the weather? You can't do anything about it. So you decided that, you know what, you're just going to buckle up, get yourself on about your business, because it is what it is. This is where we're living now. Let us just work with the program. When in Rome, do as the
Romans do.
So as you found yourself adjusting to life in Quebec, working in Quebec, at your position, and I don't know what service you.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened. I made up my mind that my life in Jamaica was good enough, and I didn't have to leave and come here and be unemployed and just take any job. So I applied for jobs while every 6 months I would travel to Canada. I was offered a position in a major bank as a trainee, and I saw this as a shift in my career, which is what I was looking for. I was looking for something in international trade finance. It became very clear to me that I was really not cut out to be a banker. On top of that, let me be gracious, but I would say that my experience there at the bank, and also, unfortunately, my experience with persons from the Black community, some of them being extended family members, amounts to me to be a huge teaching moment. I'm not going to say it's the worst experience in my life, because I do not believe that anything bad that happens to me is there to tear me down. It's there to uplift me. That's my philosophy in life.
Oh, I love that.
So
love that.
Through that, my first few years were extremely difficult. There was a lot of racism, and racism is very, very hard to fight in Canada because people are politically correct. And then, of course, you have within the Black community colorism and classism, which complicates the issue. One of the things that I'm glad that I got from Jamaica was that firm grounding, spiritual grounding. So I define myself as an eternal, evolving spirit having a meaningful or purposeful work experience in the world. I have shown up as a Black person who comes from what people call a third world country. My ancestors had a tough, hard time. I came up at a time when Jamaica was independent. So there are many intersectionalities there. And the fact that I'm an Anglophone, although I speak French in Quebec. So there were all of those nuances that I had to navigate. And I had to do all of this without a mentor. One very fateful day in summer, I was strolling along the street. I had already left the bank and I was really being very clear about where I wanted to go next. I happened upon an art class. Yes, there's a Center for the Visual Arts in Westmount. And I signed up and I decided I would go. And I'll never forget that first day. The teacher put it was drawing 101. The teacher put 3 sweet peppers on the table and put a light on it. And she said to everybody, draw. Totlin, I don't know what was going on. All of a sudden, I had a charcoal in my hand, piece of charcoal and newsprint, nothing fancy. I had a rare moment of catharsis. It was like anything that I was anxious about just all of a sudden left me. And all of a sudden, although I was drawing with black on newsprint, there was something eerily beautiful about what was coming forth. And I couldn't, the teacher said to me, you could try to start that over and paint it another way. I'm not seeing where you're going with this. I said to her, but I see where I'm going with this. She said, fine. When I was finished, she said, my goodness, Camille, why are you in this class? Why are you in 101? I said, I've never drawn before like this. I took art in high school and the rest is history. Here I am painting.
Wow.
But having said that, I did have a very, very, very successful career in the private sector here in a large global organization called Standard Life, and then also at McKesson, Canada. I was in charge of their marketing strategy and business development strategies in various lines of business. And at the same time, in keeping with my upbringing, I was asked to serve on the boards of various nonprofit organizations and to be a volunteer. So I was volunteering, but sitting on boards of the Salvation Army, the 𝑦WCA, the Anglican Foundation, La Fondation des Arches du Québec. It's a place that has homes where persons who have an intellectual disability can live. I also was involved in mentoring with the Black Academic Scholarship Fund. And when my careers at Standard Life and McKesson came to an end, I was asked to do some freelance consulting for the Salvation Army. And I lit up.
Yes.
And apparently the work that I did was quite relevant and it was successful.
Yes.
And then I decided I was done with the corporate world and I was offered a position as the executive director of the Alzheimer's Society of Montreal. Yes. So I did that for about 3.5 years. And that's the largest nonprofit community-based organization that serves persons living with dementia. And so I was there and I thought that after, working 9 to 5 and the grind, and my husband was well retired and all of this, I decided that I would scale back. So now I'm working 3 days a week with another organization called Hope for Dementia. And it gives me time to work on my art. And I'm also with a newly formed group called 𝑏ELLY, the Black Enterprise Leadership Initiative, where we're helping to mentor Black professionals so they can move into the C-suites in corporate Canada.
I love this. You know what? I am so enriched listening to your journey. I'm inspired, I'm encouraged, my heart is uplifted, and I'm doing one of those happy dances over here because I am speaking with someone who, through various challenges of old and maybe recent, even when you come to a decision, Camille, that, you know what, I'm going to scale back and I'm going to step away from, you know, these jobs and whatnot, so I can focus more on me. I'm going to, you know, and turn to my family and turn within. You are inspiring me considerably, because what I'm hearing is, do not be afraid to change. Do not be afraid to take the plunge. I'm hearing, do not hesitate to follow your heart or your leading. I am hearing you say that, you know what? We all have stuff that we have to deal with, but somehow we have to make it through, and look for the key that will open the doors to where you need to be and where you're supposed to be. So I'm loving what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay. So Totlin, here's the thing. I'm going to open up to everybody now and tell you, it's nice that you say that it's stepping out of your comfort zone and not wanting to change. But I have to tell everybody that, you know, I have, I'm not saying had, I have a problem with anxiety. That's a huge mental health issue that a lot of people are not aware of. The thing is, I mask it very well.
Oh, many people do. Many of us do.
Yeah, I have I have a tattoo on my foot that says walk by faith. So it's telling me that things will work out if you take the first step. If you make a misstep, you must learn from it. If you make the right step, or you step on a different, and if you leave your goals open-ended, you never know where you end up. So I'm just saying to you that it's not like I wake up every day and I'm
tiptoe through the tulip.
And I'm strolling through life and everything that I've had, because I've been laid off in jobs, and I've had to wait a full year before I found the right position. And yes, you have to keep your energy at a level where you don't allow yourself to slide down, you know, and get stuck in any kind of resentment. But it is art that has stabilized me throughout all of this. And I would say, when I say art has stabilized me, let me even go further than that. I'm a spiritual person. I follow the Christian tradition of spirituality, and I'm a Jesus Christ follower. I follow Jesus's teachings, and it's my faith in God as expressed through Jesus that you know, sustains me and puts me here. Yes. So, and these are the vehicles that he has given, that God is giving me, and I see the universe orchestrating people, places, and situations for me to be able to help people and businesses be better and do better. And I do that in 3 ways: through business, volunteering, and art, which I'm hoping that those who are listening and watching online have seen from my conversations, that those are the 3 overriding aspects of my life. The business side of things, you know, business strategy, marketing, communications, and then volunteering, particularly in the not-for-profit sector, in areas like health, women and girls, and marginalized groups, because my husband does work with the prisons, the prison ministry, and I do support him in that, and the homeless, and of course, visible minorities, particularly Black people. Those are the 3 areas that I work in: business, volunteering, and art.
Yes.
So my art now.
I love it. Before you even go to the art, because now I'm listening, I am now getting really very excited, because I'm ready now to get into your art, but not before I say hello to Yvonne Murray. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yvonne and I have had discussions about the whole business of retirement process and making certain changes in life. So thank you so much, Yvonne, for tuning in, and for everybody else who is watching at this time. And if you happen to be watching the replay, please go ahead and drop replay, #replay in the comments. So when it comes on to your art, do you remember selling what your first art piece was that you were satisfied in your heart about?
Yes, there was a painting that I did of Noel Coward's Firefly residence in St. Mary, I believe it is, or Portland. I actually did 2 paintings of that, but the first one I did, I actually painted it and I sold it. Yeah.
How did you feel when you painted that and it was sold? How did you feel as a creator, a new artist, so to speak? How did that feeling come over you?
I honestly didn't realize that my talent could go that far. That's what art is teaching me, is that you know, we've been told that we should set goals, become a doctor, become a VP, become this or that. But if you aspire to those goals, and that's fine. But if you leave those goals open-ended, you'll be surprised at where you can end up.
That's the second time you're saying that in this conversation. And I am absolutely adoring it, because you see, one of the things I'm discovering, Camille, about life, and even as I mentor my own young 21-year-old, 25-year-old, you know, what I'm realizing is that I am literally dumping half of what I already know when I speak. When I want to share with him or other young people, I'm literally dumping half of what I know. And I'm leaning towards what exactly you just said about leaving your options kind of open, and pursuing certain things along certain lines that may tap into your spirit, tap into your heart, because you never know where it's going to take you. Now, explain to us a little bit about your process of painting, Camille. Is it that you see images in your mind, or is it that you're impressed by your environment and this is what you lean towards capturing in your art?
Okay, so it's a mixture of both. And this is why I say paintings choose me. They tell me that they need to be painted. And I see them in my mind first before I actually put it on paper. Now, here's what usually happens. I don't know, there are times when I dream of being in a place and it stays in my mind, but it doesn't bother me, it's just there. And then I go somewhere and all of a sudden I realize that I'm in a place that looks almost like what I dreamt about. And then I have the compulsion to paint the place. That happens. There are other times when I'm just driving along or walking along and I don't know what it is. Just in a fleeting moment, there's something that I see and it's in my mind. And because we all have smartphones and all of this, and my husband has had to stop the car and turn around, and he has done that a couple of times, but he likes the results, so that's awesome. Fine. But that's how I paint, and because of that, there's a story. Now, this one that you see behind me is my latest painting, and a very good friend of mine, she lives in St. Paul's River, that's way up north in Quebec. And it was of a sunset at a place called Salmon Bay. And when I saw it, I just knew I had to paint. It was 3-dimensional. You know how you can do that on Facebook? Anyway, what happened while I took that painting, it resonated with me because for some reason, I was not in a very good mood. I was having a very bad day. I don't know. Anyway, too many things were on my mind. And would you believe, when I saw the sunset, I said, is this a sunset or a sunrise? A sunrise is a new beginning. A sunset is closure. And I came out with the idea that it was just a bad day, but not a bad life.
Yes.
And that's that painting. And I shared that on Facebook, and a lot of people like the story behind it.
I'm loving that. Now, before we started, I know we spoke about who your book is dedicated to, your parents, and you have paintings that, you know, that you want to share with us. So please go ahead, throw up your share on our screen so we can see the first of the two paintings that we can see live and direct, as we say back home.
So I can share my screen now?
Yes, go right ahead, please.
Okay, just once. You disabled? Oh, so you're going to have to enable it.
All right, so let us make sure that you're able to share your screen. Allow to, I'm gonna make you host for a minute so that you're able to share.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are we seeing this screen?
Okay, we're seeing that you started. Oh, wow. Is everyone seeing this? This is absolutely amazing. Wow, look at this.
So if I may, I'm going to just read from my book, Pastels and Prose, the dedication that I made to my father. I have a feeling that my mother and my sister may be listening. If not, they will, and they'll hear this for the very, very first time, actually. So now my father passed away about 8 years ago. He had Alzheimer's disease, and he was a model patient. He was, I always say he was a heck of a daddy-o. Oh my goodness. So we talk about Mother Nature. I call this painting Father Nurture, a tribute to John Dewey Isaacs. The approving smile of my dad the day I had to tie his shoelaces will always be a bittersweet memory. I cannot forget the first time I tied my shoelaces on my own. I could have been 3.5, and Daddy smiled approvingly, proud of my latest childhood accomplishment. But 4 decades later, dementia robbed him of the ability to tie his own shoelaces. But that he could still recognize me warmed my heart with gratitude, and I will forever cherish this memory. Like this dying ornamental palm tree that was still bearing fruit, my dad continued to be the gentle, loving, nurturing parent, even when Alzheimer's disease ravaged his mind and body. Just before his casket was closed, I tucked a laminated miniature copy of the painting in the pocket of his jacket, right above his heart. That's why I named this painting Father Nurture, as a tribute to everything that my dad was in this world and to keep his legacy alive.
Oh my goodness. That is absolutely beautiful. That's touching. That's heartfelt. I love it. And look at the detail of the palm olives. Oh my goodness. The reds and the beiges. How long did it take you to to paint this piece?
This actually took me a good, I would say 3 or 4 days. I was in Treasure Beach in Jamaica and I took the picture. But when I came back to Canada, I decided to paint it. And to tell you something, Totlin, what's interesting was I worked on this painting. I put all the details in the, in these areas here. I worked on it because, it looked to me like a brain that was dying, but a heart that was still full of love, kind of thing. And I kept wondering, is it finished? Is it finished? Is it finished? I left it on the easel and I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I came downstairs and I put this line in. I don't know if you can see me pointing to it.
Yes, I can. We can.
Yes. And as I put that line in, it was as if to say, it's finished.
Oh, wow. Absolutely marvelous. And I'm looking at the details and I love the explanation. Thank you so much for explaining that. I'm looking at the details here to the left of the heart, where that palm is hanging down, right? So all of those, like, kind of, they almost look like people, but they could be shrubs or trees. What's happening right there?
Well, actually, if you look very carefully, there's like a little pathway where my arrow is. Okay, so it looks as if those are angels going that way. And this palm that is hanging down like this is just my father's nurturing nature. And I could feel the transition that he was traveling. It was painted about a year before he passed away. But I every time I see this painting, and it's in my office at work, my heart sings with joy.
That's beautiful.
One of these days, I will see my father again, and it's all good.
Yes.
He lived a good life, and he was a model patient, and he was just a fantastic father. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
That is absolutely tremendous. I'm loving it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone watching is agreeing. They're saying, oh my God, this is very heartfelt.
Yes. Can I think my mother might be on, but I don't know, but I'd like to share another painting.
Please,
are you seeing this?
Yes, please share the other painting that you have.
Are you seeing a bouquet?
No. So you're gonna have to stop screen sharing now, and let's go back to.
Yes, okay, I'll do that.
And then pick up the other pic. Huh. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's darling.
Yeah, I don't know if I can show you, but right down here, okay, I'll read the tribute. And Mom, I hope you're listening, and if you're not listening, you'll see the replay. This one is called Bouquet for Mom, a tribute to Marie Erika McLeod Isaacs. Flowers, their fragrance, vivid colors, and intricately and delicately arranged petals remind me of my mother. It's no small wonder that my very first framed painting, still life painting, was named Bouquet for Mom. Done in the early years of my artistic journey, I was so unsure of my artistic abilities that I signed the painting with the pseudonym K''MYL, Camille, right? I traveled from Canada to Jamaica with the unframed painting rolled in a tube, and I wondered whether my mother would like it. Nearly 3 decades later, the painting has a prominent place in the living room of our family home in Jamaica. Mom speaks about this painting with much joy. It makes her feel special, knowing that she is the recipient of my very first framed painting. Listen to this now. Considered at birth to be the weakest and least likely to survive in a set of triplets, my mother has lived well into her 90s. Next week, Friday, my mom will be 96.
Wow.
Blessed with good health, a strong circle of family and friends, my mother's heart is brimming with love. The vibrant colors of the flowers, the light and the shadows aptly depict the beauty, resilience, and grace that have marked my mother's life. She is my first teacher, and she continues to inspire me. I attribute my artistic talent to my mother and thank her for the love, appreciation, and encouragement she has given me over the years.
Wow, I love this. Camille, I am loving this. I'm feeling the love. I'm feeling the honor. I'm feeling the respect. I am feeling the depth of years that can't even quantify everything that you have received in your life with your mother. I am feeling all of that. And certainly if she's listening right now, I just want to celebrate her birthday coming up too, and celebrate her being your wonderful mom and guiding you all along. This is amazing. I love it.
And I have to say that I have to thank my mother for giving me a wonderful father. She and an older sister who is also one of my fans. So Bridget, if you're listening, love you, sis. But I really have to say that my artistic talent comes from my mother. My mother was also a floral arranger. She liked doing that as a hobby. And she actually competed internationally too with her floral arrangements.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, that is absolutely phenomenal. I'm loving that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm loving that. Ever entered any of your art pieces in competitions,
Yes,
Camille?
I have. And there's one that I won a prize for once because I was up against a lot of other professional pastel artists. And it's actually a scene in Canada geese.
Wow.
I can actually share that. And yes, we do have a few minutes left. I
Yes.
can actually share that. And
Let me allow you to share once
yes,
more.
but just 1 second until I find it. Okay.
All right.
Just
So
a
while
second.
you're looking for that, I have a question for you though.
Sure.
Why is it that you have the preference for pastels in your artwork? Why the selection of that medium?
You know something, pastels are extremely difficult medium, and it was driving me crazy when I was trying to when I was learning pastels. And honestly, Totlin, I'm somebody who I just don't like being defeated. So that's what happened. I'm not finding it among my paintings
It's
here.
okay. Guess what? You can always send me a copy of it. I can throw it up here in the comments so that we can refer to it, you know, when we are playing back our video here, you know. So I like the fact that you, first of all, funny story. I like the fact that you suffered from some kind of imposter syndrome, writing your name in a pseudonym.
Yes.
Because you know what? So many of us went through that. I remember when I started radio, for instance, Camille, and I did my first on-air broadcast, one of my earliest broadcasts. And I was listening back to the replay because it was playing on national radio, 2 major radio stations. And when it was the time for the program to be played back, I listened to it in studio. I edited it, I produced it, everything, but now it's playing for the whole world to hear. I remember I would go up to the radio very close in the radio department, and I would be listening because I'm there critiquing myself and doing all kinds of stuff, but it was good enough to be on the air. But you know, we end up being our own worst critics. And slowly but surely, as you continue in your art field, then certainly, you know, you become, you grow up in your artistic identity and embrace that, you know. So at what point, do you remember at what point where you decide, where you just completely gave yourself into it and said, you know what, I am an artist and this is what it is?
Yeah, well, you know, I kept telling people that art is a hobby that I take seriously. And I'm not sure that I'm going to continue saying that. I think I'm just going to say art is one of the things that I do, you know?
Yeah. And the thing is that I think that our artists struggle, book writers, painters, songwriters, whoever, they struggle at the beginning because you see, in our schooling, and especially if we're very bright, intelligent people, which most people are. I don't care if you ended up with D in high school, because everybody learns differently and not everybody is cut out to learning a school curriculum the way it is done and mass taught. So you can have I remember, as you talk about mentorship, that's so important. I had a young man who failed miserably in his English O levels.
Oh dear.
And he ran a program where during the summer cohort, I was the teacher for that, the facilitator for a cohort of young men who wanted to redo O-level English.
Yes.
And myself, along with another young man who wrote at the time for the newspapers, came and guided these young people through. And one of the first things I told all my students was this: you're not dumb, you just learn differently from everybody else.
Exactly.
So no matter what it is, as we struggle with our identity as artists, we were never given the conversational tools. We were never given the words to speak that, you know what, I can be an artist, I can be a business person, I can be a consultant, I can be a family person, I can be all of these things and I'm valid. It is
Yes.
valid.
The
So we're never
important thing
giving
is,
language.
the important thing is that a person always has to have, you can have that inside of you that you believe you can do it, but you need to also have somebody, or you have to be surrounded by people who are telling you whatever it is you do, even if I don't understand what it is you're trying to become,
Yes.
or you can do it. You
Yes,
know?
it's very important. I know
Yeah.
you mentioned your husband a few times. We don't want to leave him out, even out of the conversation. How do you discuss your art with your spouse?
My husband, you know, he is actually a chemist by profession, so he's
Mm,
not an artist.
mm,
Having said that, he really appreciates my work.
mm,
And he's a kayaker. He likes to kayak. So actually, he's out of town right now. He said to make sure that I record this so that he can see it when he comes back. And usually when he comes back from his kayaking trip, he brings many pictures for me to paint. So some
mm,
of the paintings that you will see in the book, and an experience that he had with paddling, and a large moose, a mother moose actually was
mm.
trying to protect her calves. He came that close to
To not
being
being, yeah, to being
knocked over.
wow.
Anyway, no, but he's very supportive of my artistic endeavors,
Mhm.
and he appreciates the realistic, impressionistic approach that I take
Okay, right.
here. And in the book, I make a lot of reference to him, because he has been a large part of my support system here in Canada. I told you I had some difficult years.
Mhm,
Then I was out on my own for a while, and things, you know,
mhm.
I'm a person of faith, things get better.
Right.
But then when I did meet him, he is like my anchor. He is actually the absolute love and joy of my life, if I may say that.
I love it.
Sounds corny, but
No, listen,
hey,
we do corny over here on Why I Write. Believe you me. I'm a diehard romantic myself. And I believe in true love and all of that wonderful thing. And I also believe in each of us helping each other in whatever capacity, in whatever role we fill. Parent,
yeah.
a spouse, you know, child even. That's what we are here to do. Now, having done this cadre of artwork in your genre, in your choice of medium, what made you decide that, you know what, I need to do a book?
I woke up one day and decided I needed to write a book. I've been doing a lot of community art exhibitions. Some people cannot, you know, they're not going to pay
They're
three,
not going
four
to invest
hundred
in art.
dollars for a painting. Um, I just found it very unfulfilling to stand there and try to explain a painting when there are 10 people asking me different questions. So I said, why not put it in a book? And then I noticed that there are coffee table books, but coffee table books just have pictures. I
Mm,
said, I want to have short stories that go with the pictures. So
anecdotal.
I did a proof of concept on Facebook and Instagram, where I posted my pictures, paintings, and then put a small story. And I found that people's responses and reactions was absolutely phenomenal. And
Mm,
I just on Friday announced, you know, a special offer of my book,
mhm.
and I'm getting so many inquiries. And I right now I have my first delivery of books from Amazon came in,
Please,
and
put your hand on one so we can see what it looks like in terra firma. I love it. I am loving that. And turn it to the side. Let's get a 3/4 view. Love it. I am loving it.
thank you.
Love it.
So what I'm doing now is people can actually buy this on Amazon,
Mhm,
but it's priced at 40 Canadian dollars on Amazon, whichever marketplace you go to, and
mhm.
you would have to pay shipping and handling. But what I'm doing is, for the people who are following me on Facebook and who are joining in on Why I Write, if they contact me through my website, They can have this book at 35 Canadian dollars if they place an order before the 30th of September. So the website, they can go to my page, Camille Isaacs Morell, to find the link to my web page. It's CamilleIsaacsMorell.com/pastelsandprose. And there you can send me an email. And I'm not taking credit cards or any of this because I don't want to get into fraud or any, right. But people, we can work out how you can
do
pay
that.
me. And
I might be able to assist you with something offline that will assist you. So I can definitely assist you with that.
Sure. Okay.
I'd be happy to. It's relatively simple.
Anyway, the offer that if you buy directly from me is valid until the 30th of September. If you go through Amazon, you're paying more. And after that, it's only going to be available through Amazon. There are a couple of people who might be on this from Jamaica. And I just want to let them know I will be in Jamaica in December, and I have a special price of 4,000 Jamaican dollars, which is less than 35 Canadian. And I will not be charging them shipping and handling, but I need to receive those orders so I can have the books, and they will be autographed, all of them.
Oh, that's
for those who,
I'm loving that. Yes. So we're going to be posting all of this detail in the comments and of course at the top of the video so you can see that for yourself. I am so happy to be a part of this very special offer because again, you're listening to Why I Write. You have until September 30. You get a very special discounted offer. You can check out Camille's website and follow the link. And, you know, she's tagged on all of these, so you can definitely link her on that. Camille, you have so many folks here online getting so excited. So let me just bring up some of the conversation here. Ryan says, every blessing for the journey.
Who is that?
Ryan Green.
Oh, thanks, Ryan.
Right. Okay. Yvonne. Okay, Yvonne. Yes, we dropped the information just now, Yvonne. And Teresa says you have a very special gift, Camille.
Thank you.
Also, let me see what else. Ryan is watching. Carol Reed Chin, hi, good to see you, is watching. As we wrap up our conversation tonight, Camille, I don't want us to end the conversation without you sharing with us, are there any other formal artists, whether Jamaican, international, European, who inspire you in your work?
Yes, the renowned Jamaican artist, Barrington Watson, he's now passed away. His work, anytime I see his work, I am inspired by the emotion that is evoked in his painting and his accuracy as a draftsman, the way he gets that. The other person who has inspired me tremendously and who I had the utter privilege of meeting is Judy-Ann Macmillan. And Judy-Ann, I admire her. Her work has always inspired me, and she paid me such a compliment. I wanted to join one of her classes to ask her if she could help me, and she said I didn't need her. I was floored by that, and I had the opportunity to go and meet her in person, and she is mentioned in the book also. I'm not going to say how, because she was one of the first people to order this book, actually. So when I go to Jamaica and she sees that, I think it will be a nice surprise for her. She also has her coffee table books are on my coffee table. I am so tremendously blessed by her. My mother, I will go back again and say, she has not painted, but her floral art, her dress designing and sewing, her creativity, she did a lot of dramatizations when she was teaching her Sunday school class. All of her artistic talent, I believe I've gotten that from her. And I can't tell you how tremendously blessed I am to have been on this program. And I want to thank all the people who have joined in, and to thank God above all for orchestrating this so nicely and for us to do this together. Thank you so much, Tatlin.
You're most welcome. It's my utmost pleasure. It's my humblest joy to be able to share with a fellow alum. I don't care if you are ahead of me or not. We're all connected because it came under the same banner around about the same time. And I am tickled pink, as I said to you before we started the program. I have in the background art. There's a portrait of me done by Philip Henry. He's a fine Jamaican artist too. Just at my shoulder here was a little art project that my son did. And just above my head, when I'm playing around at home, I did my Caribbean Sea.
Fantastic. You keep
So,
painting.
I can't agree with you more that as an inspiring artist, as you are, businesswoman, volunteer, a community organizer, because you have a heart, you feel the desire to mentor and to be all that you can be and making the choices. Thank you, thank you, thank you for doing what you've done. And surely I know that once we hold your book in our hands, we're going to even learn more about you and your art and your heart and your work. Bless you. Happy birthday when it comes around. Hug your mom and kiss her a lot. See if you get the chance to when her birthday comes around.
Yes.
All the best. And in any way
you.
that we can support you further, please do not hesitate to let us know.
Thank you.
Blessings, Camille.
Namaste.
Namaste. You know what? At Astra per Aspera. I have to close it that. So thank you so much, YI Writers. Thank you so much for being a part of our conversation this evening. Share, like, and share our video, and watch out for our YouTube channel. You're gonna have to start joining us live on YouTube. And just continue to dream, paint, inspire, do your part, and live your life to the fullest. Until next time, my name is Tatlin Oliver, and this has been Why I Write. Take care.
Thank you.